Under the same moon, we share the love. Embracing the differences like hand in glove. Spreading peace and joy, it's a beautiful sight. Together we shine in each other's light. United we stand in love's pure might. Watching the world share in love and light. Hearts beating as one in our peaceful flight. Colors of harmony painting the night. United we stand in love's pure might.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in tonight to Watching the World. We have a great show in store. We have a lot of scholars in the building to break down what's happening in America, the place where we all live. In fact, in Texas, we went over today at lunch that there's a big dilemma happening with Democrats leaving the state, and we heard rumors that there have been warrants issued. So tonight, we're going to bring on a whole panel of individuals that are actually in Texas to bring you the news right off of the streets. We have boots on the ground. This is going to be one amazing show. All right, so we're going to welcome everyone. We have Calvin Johnson here tonight, a criminal defense attorney. We also have DJ Genesis here, and we have Queen and also Baba. So we'll start off with Calvin Johnson. Why don't you tell us who you are and where they can find you?
My name's Attorney Calvin D. Johnson. I'm a Texas native. I'm a 24-year practicing criminal defense attorney. I've been practicing law almost 25 years. I'm also a former city council candidate here in Dallas, Texas. I have been on my own running my office for the last 24 years. I do state, local, and federal criminal defense. I am also very politically involved. I also have a foundation called Sarum Foundation where we do community cleanups and we help seniors bring their houses up to code. I do a lot of stuff here in Texas, and I do state, local, and federal criminal defense as my regular job, but I am very politically involved in my community, all over the community, especially in Southern Dallas. And I want to talk about what's happening down here in Texas with my friend Jasmine Crockett and Mark Vesey. So let's see what we can talk about tonight.
Okay, Queen, tell us who you are and where they can find you.
Hi. My name is Queen, and you can call me Queen at 6'2". You can actually find me over at Dee Dee Said It. What I am, I'm just a civil circulist, and what I like to do, I like to just search through the earth and look for the truth and hold anyone accountable if they need to be held as such.
Okay, thank you. Also, we have Baba in the building. Tell us who you are and how they can find you as well.
I'm Baba Yashabaya. I'm in the state of Louisiana, Pelican State. I'm in a town called Tallulah, and I've been involved in politics since 1988. I've been a member of the Jesse Jackson campaign for mayor, Bernice Johnson. I've been worked in Dallas with the late what's his name? Almost called a brother's name, Al Lipkin, Diane Ragsdale. Worked with a lot of things around Texas. I'm involved in Louisiana. I ran for school board and for a jury, and I also pastored a church in Texas for 48 years. And I've been politically involved all that time. Now I'm just an old elder out here trying to get our people to wake up and see the light.
Thank you. It's nice to have you on the show for the first time. We look forward to all the wisdom you're going to bring to it. DJ Genesis, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm DJ Genesis. I'm the producer of the weekly legal review with Calvin Johnson and Mel Smith, and I'm also the owner of the channel DJ Genesis Detroit. And I'm just here to bring the news and to let people know what's going on. Shouts out, please check out my page at djgenesis.com when you get a chance, and please like and subscribe for Watching the World 777.
Okay, thank you very much. So just to get the show going, we're going to start off with the video that DJ Genesis is going to show to set the stage of exactly what we're talking about. Genesis. Genesis, are you going to play the bit? Oh, okay,
reps of Democrats who did not show up for this afternoon's special legislative session in the Texas State House. Now, this is all part of the fight for control of the U.S. House of Representatives in next year's midterm, and it's playing out in dramatic fashion.
Members, a quorum is not present. The roll has been called, and a quorum has not been established.
Now, dozens of Democratic Texas state representatives skipped that special session that began and then, as you saw, was quickly adjourned just about an hour ago, actually fleeing the state in an attempt to block a Trump-led partisan redrawing of the state's congressional map, a redrawing that could potentially give Republicans 5 more U.S. seats in the midterms. And in response to Texas Democrats breaking quorum and stopping official state house business, the remaining state lawmakers passed a motion to allow the state house speaker to issue civil warrants for representatives who did not attend the special session. Texas Governor Greg Abbott also threatening to remove any lawmaker who did not show up when the State House convened last hour. State law allows a district court to determine whether a public official has, quote, abandoned their office, though that could become quite a messy, drawn-out process. Now, breaking quorum itself is not a crime, but if state lawmakers had remained in Texas, Abbott could technically order state troops to haul them to the Capitol. So where exactly have all the Democrats gone? Well, many of them have fled to states led by Democratic governors, including Illinois and New York, as those states are now exploring options on retaliating by redrawing their congressional maps in favor of Democrats. All of this appears to be building toward a gerrymandering arms race. Let's go straight to CNN's Ed Lavandera. He's outside the Texas Capitol building in Austin. Ed, what are you hearing from Texas State House members given the session that just adjourned without enough Democrats for a quorum?
Well, they've been ordered to reconvene tomorrow at 1 o'clock Central Time, but it doesn't appear that the outcome tomorrow will be any different from what we saw today, and that after a few minutes, the House will quickly be forced to adjourn because there is not a quorum. From what we could tell, there were about 6 Democrats that did not break quorum. So of the 62 members, it appears about 56 have left the state, and that sent off a flurry of activity. The Speaker of the House immediately issuing the civil arrest warrants for those members, and shortly after that, the governor ordering DPS troopers to arrest these members and bring them back to the Capitol. But again, as you mentioned, these Democrats are in states like Illinois and New York, run by Democrats. That doesn't appear to be likely, but that increasing rhetoric of punishing the Democrats who have left the state seems to be something that we continue to hear from more and more Republican lawmakers here as they wait for Democrats to return. And Phil, we are in the middle of this 30-day special session, and there's about 2 weeks left of it. So Democrats would have to stay away that long, but in the end, it won't matter. Governor Greg Abbott could just simply call another session, and they have the votes to pass this redistricting bill. But what we've heard over and over from the Democrats who have left the state of Texas is that this is about ratcheting up pressure on Republicans, making it very difficult and painful as possible to pass this redistricting bill, and trying to spread the message across the country that they believe that the redistricting efforts here in Texas is a threat to democracy. We spoke with one of those lawmakers shortly after she touched down in New York last night.
Well, look, we saw that Republicans were not putting the priority of Texans before the priorities of Donald Trump. We had 8 or 9 hearings on these gerrymandered redistricting maps. We only had 2 hearings on flood recovery.
There are Republicans out there saying that you guys are cowards for leaving the state, that you're not doing your job. How do you respond to that?
I see it the other way around. I see it that my colleagues are the cowards. My colleagues were the cowards when they took Donald Trump's call and then voted all but 2 Republicans for his voucher scam. And then they were cowards again when they took another call from Donald Trump when he said, oh, we're just going to do a small change of the map, just 5 more seats.
Okay, very good. So let's start off with Calvin. Can you tell us perhaps what is going on in Texas?
Basically, what they're doing is they're trying to gain more political power by redrawing the districts for Texas. The way that they draw the districts will, and it will kind of, and it'll end up showing how certain districts will vote and how many seats you will win. So, for example, if you draw a district in a way that does not have a lot of African Americans, or you change the drawing of a district from an African American heavy district to a mixed district, or take little pockets of that district out to reduce the ability for the person who's already in that district to win, then that's what they're doing. What they're basically doing, especially in Jasmine Crockett's situation, they have basically drawn her out of her district. And when I say draw you out of your district, let's say there's a map and I live on Street J. And because I live on Street J, I'm in District 30 with a bunch of black folks, a bunch of people who already support me. I got everything in place over there to win. I got all the groups for me. But let's say when it comes to redrawing the districts, they take Street J and put it in District 31 as opposed to District 30. Now I have to run against somebody who's an incumbent who already has their people in place. And now what you're doing is you're forcing people to knock each other out, and you're drawing districts in a way to where the Republicans can gain seats. When I say gain seats, they have not only drawn Jasmine Crockett out her seat, they've drawn Mark Vesey out of his seat. And those are probably two of the most popular and powerful African Americans in Congress from the state of Texas. And they happen to be Democrats, and they happen to be African American. So that's kind of what they're doing. And they're doing it in a way to try to gain seats. And what they've done is they've cut those two people out, and they've drawn maps in other parts of the state so that they can also make Democrats bump heads or be in districts that are heavy Republican upon which they can't win. So what they're doing is they're trying to gain more Republican power at the state level so they can take more of their Republican power to the national level. And one of the problems is Jasmine Crockett is extremely vocal in fighting against Donald Trump and his policies, and they don't like that. And they're trying to punish her for being that voice of dissent, for being that voice of strength. Now, you may not agree with everything that Jasmine Crockett does, but I can tell you one thing. She does fight them tooth and nail, and she fights for what is right, for the most part, against those Republicans that are at the national level. And they don't like that, and they're trying to silence her. They're trying to silence Mark Vesey, and they're trying to punish both of them while at the same time discriminating against African-American voters.
Okay, thank you for that breakdown, especially with you being in Texas. Barbara, could you please tell us what's happening in Louisiana? You're muted.
The same thing is happening in Louisiana. We've got Governor Landry. What they managed to do through gerrymandering, they got a supermajority here now in the House and in the Senate. So right now he's just rushing bills through, bill after bill after bill. So when anytime they stack the deck like that, it's called gerrymandering. So they've been redrawing this. And the sad thing about it, we had a black Democrat voted against them, creating two more minority districts. You know, and that's what shocked us. One of our representatives, his name is Travis Johnson. He voted with the Republicans to not create a second minority district. And now we got problems because a lot of the money is, we're agriculture town. Most of the big farmers are white, you know, and as God is know, a lot of black farmers are getting punished in Louisiana, we know, trying to make it. So yeah, we have the same problem. So if Texas pull this off, they'll have more power going in. So yeah, they already done it here, and we're fighting for 2026 to change that. But right now, we've got a redistricting thing going on down here now. It's in federal court, you know. So this thing is all over, yeah. So when they get a supermajority in the House and Senate, they control what comes through. And they just passed the House Bill 244, which is going to knock a lot of black people in the head, man.
Okay, thank you very much. Queen, tell us what you think about this whole scenario.
Y'all always put me on the spot. I'm gonna tell you about this whole scenario. Buddy, I feel like if they're doing their job, people should join in and do their job too. I feel like if I look at these bills that are being written, I think we got a big problem in the United States. And the first problem we have in the United States is too many illegal immigrants. That's a part of the bill, and it's a law. We're trying to upend the law, right? Because if anybody on the stage answer the question, Is it legal for illegals to be in the United States? We're all going to agree on the same thing. No, you got to go. The next part of it is when we talk about what's going on in the United States, we got a population of homelessness in our country. And when I think about homelessness in our country, I kind of equate homelessness with illegal immigrants. I put those on the same playing field. We got to do something about it. But when we continue, I'm not going to get too long-winded, but when we continue and I look after bill after bill after bill, and I see that those bills individually that I'm looking at is leading in one direction, and that direction tells me, Democrat, no, that's why you're running and you should come back. It tells me that somebody either is not doing their job or somebody is babysitting the state and not allowing our Black community to grow. I mean, because if we look at each bill separately and independently, see, this could be a fair conversation if we go back to the beginning of the story. We're not at the beginning of the story, because at the beginning of the story would tell me for at least the last 24 years, I've seen Democrats in the House. And out of those 24 years, we had a Republican in the House for how many years? 4. And I want to know why I still got stress on my neck. Because if I led with my emotions to keep Democrats on the platform and they still got my country with cracks in the foundation, they're not going to get my vote. I don't know what's going on, but I would have to look at each thing individually. And if it leads to Democrats, you should stay in New York and get your warrants, or you should come back and face what deficit have you put our country in the last at least 20 years. And I've been with you since I can remember. You made me put this whole country in a division. You got the Queen, you got the Black community, and now I got to come and turn around to the divided. And the divided is the ones that's deciding to go with Democrats because they're not individually looking at bills. They're individually looking at a color, which is red, and then they're individually looking at the name Donald Trump. He wear a toupee, but I can tell you what, it looked like he's for my Black community, and I'm gonna fight the power with him. I give it back because I already know.
Okay, Genesis, you're there in Texas. Tell us your thoughts on what's happening.
The way I see it is that, when you redraw districts, you are leading the hand of putting the districts in the hand of people that are not aware of what's going on in that specific area. So I don't think it's right to allow and put these districts in different hands other than the people that people voted for, because these people actually know what is going on in that district. So it's one thing to talk about immigrants. Well, in South Dallas, immigrants is not the problem, right? In Oak Cliff, immigrants is not the problem. They have different problems than immigrants there. So when you have a certain person that runs for that specific area, whether it be Cedar Hill, which is majority Black, DeSoto, whatever, you're dealing with not just the immigrant problem. You're actually dealing with the Black majority of group of people that that these people are like running that district and understand the issues of those people. So I don't think it's right to just redraw those districts and then put it in the hand of someone that has no idea what is going on in that district. So that's where I'm at with the whole thing.
Okay, Calvin. So as an attorney, a criminal defense attorney, are the warrants that have been issued, are they legitimate?
They're what we call civil warrants. And so it's kind of like if you had a contempt of court warrant. And that's kind of what they're doing. But those civil warrants don't go past the state of Texas. So if those people were in the state of Texas, they could be picked up and they could be brought and they could be held at the legislature to make them do their jobs while they're there. And so that's what those civil warrants are. And listen, I always tell people elections have consequences. Now, if the Republicans win the majority of the elections, of course they get to draw the maps. But what they don't get to do is draw maps based on race or exclude people based on race. And that's why I have a problem with Donald Trump and I have a problem with what he's doing. At the end of the day, listen, when you lose an election, you're not going to get everything you want. I understand that. I accept that. But when you start to cut people out, and they didn't cut Jasmine Crockett out and Mark Vesey out until the end. They, if you notice, that there are 5 seats that they're trying to win, right? Or they're trying to gain. They marked up the other 3 seats. And at the very last minute, they went after BC and Crockett, who happen to be African American, who happen to be down here in Dallas, Texas, and Fort Worth, Texas. And I'm going to tell you why I got a problem with that. Once again, I told y'all we are the 4th largest metropolitan area in the United States. And to not have any Black representation when we're going to make up the 2nd most or 3rd most set of people down here in Texas, that's going to be crazy to me. That's not fair. And you can't use race to do what they're doing. If they want to redraw the maps is one thing. But when you get to the very end and you decide that you are going to automatically draw out 2 people and you draw out Jasmine Crockett for the sake and the fact that she's actually up there fighting and disagreeing with you, that's something that you shouldn't be able to do. That's racial. That's a racial component. And not just as a criminal defense lawyer, but as a lawyer who majored in political science and history, there are going to be lawsuits. There's going to be a federal appeals court. There's going to be Supreme Court arguments about all of this. So our lawyers in the Democratic Party, or the lawyers for the Democratic Party, because I'm more of an independent now at this point, the lawyers for the Democratic Party better get on their job and they better do what they're supposed to do. And I got to say one more thing. And a lot of people are not going to rock with me on this one. The Democratic Party has supported a lot of positions without coming to talk to Black people, without coming to talk to their constituents. They're doing some stuff on immigration. They're doing some stuff on LGBTQ stuff. They're doing some stuff on and some of the other areas without literally coming to talk to the constituents in the Black community. And now, because of some of that, and let's be honest, because of some of the positions that the Democratic Party took on the national level is the reason why we lost that election. People want to blame Black men. They want to blame people, Black women, or they want to blame Black men. They want to blame people who didn't vote. Listen, you got to give people a reason to vote. And when you're going to be the party in power, you need to come ask us, what do we want? The party is taking positions without coming to ask the people who live here in Texas. And now we are suffering the consequences of them taking positions without really coming to talk to us or us having a conversation. And there's some conversations in the Democratic Party that they won't even let you have anymore. You're not even allowed to talk about certain things without being called a phobia or phobic or this or that. No, we need to have real conversations, because right now we're in a position where people that are in the state legislature had to run out of the state just to keep discrimination from happening to us. And we should not be in this position.
Okay, Calvin. So being an attorney, I have a question for you. Some of the individuals fled to New York. Some went to Illinois. Can they travel to arrest these individuals at a federal level?
No, they cannot. They're not going to be able to do it, because basically that's a state warrant. And the governor, the reason why they went to New York and the reason why they went to Illinois, because those governors would have to approve those people being arrested and brought back. And right now they are not going to do that.
Okay, thank you. Bob, I have a question for you. In Louisiana, did individuals of the Democratic Party, did they flee as well?
No. But right now it's Texas, but it's coming this way.
Okay, so no one is left. So what's happening
not
in Louisiana? Okay, so
I'm sorry, but not as of yet. But we look forward to having, because they're going to try to create solidarity across the state, because Louisiana followed Texas, because Governor Abbott and Landry are good buddies. They see Texas sent a bunch of soldiers. Louisiana sent a bunch of National Guard over to Texas when they were doing the thing with the immigrants and things over there. So when you talk about Texas, you're talking about Louisiana. They are Siamese twins.
Okay, thank you very much. Calvin, question for you. Who do you think is behind this whole project?
It's the MAGA Republicans, and it's bigger than Donald Trump. And what people have to understand, I used to do a show with a lady named Dorothy Burton, and I do shows with her from time to time. She has a show called Real Talk with Dorothy Burton. And the reason why it's good to deal with people like that, she used to be a Republican. She's no longer a Republican. And she was a Republican for decades. So she had the insides talking about what they were getting ready to do. To be honest with you, she told us a few years ago that they were going to be attempting to do what they're doing now, because she worked on the inside and of the Republican Party. But she's a very light-skinned Black person who used to be a Republican, who no longer is a Republican. And she decided, hey, I don't like what y'all are doing over there. I've seen the light. I'm going to tell them. She's told us what they were going to do. And I'm going to be honest with you. We had an event that she hosted about 2 years ago, and she warned us about this particular thing that's happening right now. But the problem is the Democratic Party is afraid to have certain conversations because we're taking positions, and I can understand why Queen was so upset earlier. Sometimes the Democratic Party has taken positions that do not benefit the two groups that vote for them in the heaviest numbers. What are the two groups that vote for Democrats in the heaviest numbers? Black men and Black women. We should be first in line, and we're not. And that's a problem. And a lot of African Americans are starting to realize that we're being pushed to the back and we're being lumped in with everybody else's issues without the party taking care of ours. That's why you got those people in Chicago Red, they're so upset because they feel like for years they asked for things. The immigrants came, and all of a sudden $500 million, $1 billion was spent to house them, when all for the last 60 years they've been asking for resources in their communities. And that's why we're having this problem. And if you notice, there is a huge uproar in Texas right now, but it's not the uproar it used to be, because a lot of people have started to give up on the Democratic Party in terms of them getting stuff done. Look at the position we're in. We literally have people that had to flee the state to keep us from getting discriminated against because we're going to lose 2 seats. Not just 2 people. 56 people had to run out of the state of Texas and go to another state and take refuge. And that was created not just recently. This started a long time ago when our party, when I say our party, we can call it our party because 90% of us vote, 90% of Black women and 70-some to 80% of Black men vote for it. 90% of Black women and 80% of Black men are voting for the Democratic Party. And they took a position, really, to be honest with you, without asking us enough. And that's the problem. You got to, if that's your base, we're their base. But we're being lumped into things that sometimes we don't even agree with. And we're not going to talk about the religious things that that party pushes. There are a lot of people like myself that consider themselves followers of God. And there's a lot of positions that the Democratic Party has taken that has turned a lot of people off.
Thank you for your input. So, Queen, tell us what you're thinking in regards to what Calvin said.
A whole lot differently.
Okay.
You know, I'm thinking a whole lot differently. I'm thinking so when Biden won and they started this ballots and the ballots wasn't right, and you know they changing the ballots and so forth and so on. We didn't have that issue this time. We didn't have no issue that says that Kamala was supposed to win. We didn't have that issue. So if we didn't have that issue, I'm not understanding why more people didn't vote on the side of Democrat. It seems like if people were really going on the Democrat side, it would have been a good thing. But because that didn't happen, that means there's more people that went on the Republican side. And from my understanding of it, it's a lot of people, black men, black women, a whole community. There's communities after communities that have swapped over roles and decided to go on the Republican side. So if there's if we have an influx of blacks, because we're going to talk about blacks, because that's where it really started. Because it's the most of the Democrats, not to offend anybody, but most of the Democrats these days are more emotional. They're more emotional to the black community, but we're not helping the black communities though. Because if we were helping the black communities, it's a lot we wouldn't be talking about right now. Because what people understand is black people created this country. I'm sorry, I'm being blunt. However, it's created by a company, country. All you have to do is go and take a look at everything that's been created here. So if it's the Democrat side that was supposed to make us continue to feel like that, I'm wondering why so many black in our community have switched over from Democrat and they went over to Republican. So clearly what's going on, if you ask me, is people are starting to wake up. They're starting to wake up and understand that either we took this earth and we flipped it upside down and the new Democrat is the Republican, or Democrats shouldn't be in the office because they've had enough time. And I want to know, how long have you been in office to where you did not notice there was homelessness on the ground and you allowed illegal immigrant after illegal immigrant after immigrant from other country to come into our country and sit on top of our homeless? So if I need to vote Democrat, that means I need to continue to be emotional. But I can't continue to be emotional because my emotions should go along with my homeless people in my country on the ground versus the homeless people in other countries that's actually laughing at us right now. Okay, Africa, anybody remember Africa? I remember Africa because they picking on our ass like we ain't nothing. They're disrespecting us and don't even understand we speak a dual language. We speak English, and in the dictionary, there's also Ebonics. That means that we have created this country, but I don't understand why there are so many illegals that are disrespecting us in our country, and the Democrats knew about it, and why we have so many homeless on the ground, and the Democrats know about it, and the only one tried to change that was President Donald Trump.
Okay.
We've had so many in on the Democratic side that could have put something to the end with at least homelessness. I know they seen illegal snowballing on us. I know they seen homelessness snowballing on us. I know they seen that we were getting further and further and further and further and further into debt. So at what point do we have to say Democrat? I think you're the new old Republican, and Republicans, I feel you're the new Democrat. Because if we have enough black people voting on the Democrat, look at what the bills are writing. We can still rewrite the game, because if we got black people sticking together, who do you think are going to be the next political parties in office? We might be able to see 2 or 3 more black presidents if we wake up and stop being emotional.
Okay, so we're gonna have Calvin give you a rebuttal.
This is my thing. Yes, I want change. But I can't vote for a man who doesn't keep his word. I can't vote for a man who gets small businesses to do work for him. He don't pay them. I can't vote for a man who does not respect women. You can call me emotional or not, but those are foundational values that I hold, and I will not allow myself to vote for a man like that. But I will tell you this: Queen made a lot of points. Now, I'm not a Trump supporter. I can never vote for him, because he's not a man of his word. He can't keep his word, and I could never vote for a man like that. But I will tell you this: she made a lot of points that I'm hearing from a lot of people. There were a lot of folks that basically said, and this is not anything against the immigrants, they're saying we had a lot of problems over here. We had a lot of problems in the African American community, and a lot of resources got sent to people who were not even citizens. A lot of money got invested in that instead of invested in our communities. And I understand how Queen feels. I can't vote for Trump. I'll never vote for Trump because he's not a man of his word, and he doesn't keep his word in terms of paying people that are supposed to be paid to do what they're supposed to do, and some of the other things. I don't think he's a truthful person. But at the same time, I do see why some people have had enough of doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. but I'm not willing to go vote for Mr. Trump. But I am willing to take the Democratic Party to task. We need some change. We need some new people. We need some people that are going to get in there
Can I say something
they're going to do. But I'm going to tell you right now,
let them finish.
Somebody who doesn't keep their word, eventually they won't keep their word with you. So at the end of the day, Trump is going to turn on everybody who he's supporting. He will do what he needs to do at the time he needs to do it. But when the rabbit has the gun, he's going to shoot you with it. So I'm smart enough to know that. I'm not oblivious to the fact that the Democratic Party needs to make a lot of changes, and they need to put the people who vote for them the most first. Period.
How long do we wait? But how long do we wait? How long do we wait for that, Calvin? It's been 24 years minus 4. If we've already put them through the test, we've already given them the chances. We've given the Democrat Party the chance. So that means what we should do is sit back and add 4 more years.
No.
Add 8 more years.
No.
And then 20 more years. And we're still in the same position. They had the ruling amount of time.
You take them to task, but what you don't do is vote for a party that got a whole bunch of racists in there that eventually, once they finish with them illegal immigrants, and once they get all the money, they're gonna turn the gun right on our black you know what's later on. And I'm smart enough to know that. And if you're not smart enough to know that, I'm sorry, because they're going to do what they need to do for now. They'll nuzzle up close to us now, but later on they coming back for us. And I'm smart enough to know that they're going to do that. So what we need to do is we need to take those folks to task that we do elect. And I do agree with you about that, Queen. We have been neglected. And I agree with you 100% about that. And something needs to get done about it. But I'm not going to stick with the racists.
I'm ready to fight for them.
Can I
I'm ready to fight.
Hold on. Let's Genesis say her piece now.
I mean, I get it, you know, that there's been a thing with the whole Democratic Party and how they're doing things. But I think also the Democratic Party, when it really comes down to, because one thing we're only like thinking about Trump and what he's doing, but when it comes down to these council members, these senators, these people that are working within their districts, these people are actually doing work within their districts. That's the reason why they got voted in. There's a reason why people voted Jasmine Crockett into the situation that she's in. So to redistrict her is not fair because she got voted. That means that she has been doing something to continuously get voted in. Same thing with other people that were in their districts. They continuously get voted in. Why? Because they're doing something that makes sense, right? So it's one thing to say, oh well, President Trump. So we're looking at the whole. We're not. So this situation is not about the whole. This is about like the actual. Because the presidential election already happened. Now we're going into the senators and the Congress and the council people. Now it's that, right? So at a certain level, we can say, okay, well, the Democratic president didn't do, but you don't know what the Democratic people in the Congress seats, in the city council seats, the districts, what they're doing. So we can't say that just because this person is not trying, that these ones are not fighting. So I just want to make that be a statement that I know. I've seen Jasmine Crockett fight. I've seen her sit there and put herself on the line. Speak out most aggressively about what was going on in everything. So to me, that is showing a person that's actually dedicated and willing to put themselves out there and be on the chopping block to say, listen, this is unconstitutional. This, whatever's going on, this thing, no. So now he gets come in and redistrict her and just vote her out of office so she can't just shut her up. No, that's not cool. So it's one thing to say, okay, Trump, but no, this is not about Trump at this point. Well, Trump, it's about him using his power to shut her up, and I don't like that. I don't like the fact that he's casting a wide net to catch one fish, and that's what it seems like to me.
All right, so let's send it back to Calvin, then we'll go to Baba.
and I'm gonna keep it 100. Jasmine Crockett's in my district. He's doing this to me. He's doing this to me. He's not doing it to somebody else across the country. He's officially doing this to me. I voted to have her where she's at. This is her first term. I supported her when she ran for state rep 100. I supported her when she ran again. And when she's in Congress now. This is her first term, literally her first term. But Donald Trump and the Republicans, you don't get to draw the person that I elected out of my district just because she disagrees with you. And not only did you do that, you did that not just to her, you did that to the person right next door to me. So you did it to me twice. So that's why I have a problem with Trump and the Republicans, because I see right now the gun is officially being turned on me right now. So I understand what's happening and I understand what they're getting ready to do. And don't get me wrong, I am ready to take the Democrats to task. I understand that. When I ran, part of the reason I didn't win is because I would not fall, I would not toe to the line and do everything that they wanted me to do. I actually had somebody tell me I was too honest. I literally had somebody tell me. I had somebody tell me I was too honest. I want you to understand that. And you know why? Because there is a system in place, especially here in Texas, and I'm going to keep it 100. And Baba, you know, I grew up across the street from you, so you know I'm telling the truth. There's a system here in Texas, two things. It's called the accommodation. And in Dallas-Fort Worth area, it's called the accommodation and the unholy alliance. And I want you to understand what those two things mean, because I'm going to help you understand Texas politics. There was a relationship between the white business owners in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas, and the pastors in the African-American community. And that relationship extended for 40, 50, 60 years. The voting bloc of the white business owners, along with the black pastors, controlled elections here in Dallas, Texas. And the problem that they're having now is that those white business owners now are fully Republican. And the pastors here in Texas no longer have the power they used to have because our churches are disintegrating. So they no longer, the pastors now no longer control their parishioners to get them to go vote and to get them to take positions. So the problem that we have in Texas right now is we had decade upon decade upon decade upon decade of the accommodation, and that's what we call the accommodation. The white business owners, and I'm going to tell you the truth, because a lot of people won't tell you this, and I'm glad we're having this conversation. The white business owners were giving money to the black pastors for years here in Texas. And there's a relationship that ran on for years here in Texas. Do you know what happened when Martin Luther King came to Dallas, Texas? The black pastors here in Dallas met him at the airport and told him, we don't have a race problem here. Get back on that plane and get on up out of here.
Man,
see, y'all have to understand.
Baba is up here. He is like, come on, unmute.
He know I'm telling the truth.
Tell it.
He know I'm telling the truth. And so
I was there.
Exactly. I understand what's happening here in Texas. That's why I'm so hot about it. And I'm going to tell y'all, and Mel, you work with me. Queen, you've heard me talk. Genesis, you know you work with me. Baba, you right across the street from you. I'm a real one.
Yeah.
And they don't want real ones.
No.
Because I'm going to tell the truth. I'm not going to bend. I'm not going to break. I'm not going to fold. I'm going to stay solid in a world full of jello. But that's the problem. I'm going to be honest with you, Mel. The accommodation is caught up with us.
I got the book.
Exactly. There's a book. There's a book called The Accommodation. There's a book that talks about it.
I got on my shelf, Calvin.
I want to say something. I want to just say something real quick. I apologize, but I want to say something real quick. I want to say that it seems like Texas have been a Republican state for a long time. So I want to know, Republican, Democrat, what is it that will make you feel, what is it that you think why so many Black Americans in your state start voting Republican. Now, the Black Americans, why do you think so many Blacks started voting Republican?
And I'm gonna tell you why is because what I just mentioned. No longer the pastors here in Dallas, Texas, no longer have the power they used to have. I'm gonna tell you something. The Black pastors here in Dallas, Texas, they could win you an election because their parishioners, all the Black churches, where my house sits now. I'm in the State Thomas Historical District. Within 2 miles of here, the 5 major churches were in this community. The community I live in now, where I own a place in South Dallas and I have a place over here in Uptown. This community that I'm in right now was black. It's all white right now. I'm one of 3 Black people that live in this building right now. But all of this community used to be 99.9% Black. And it was taken away from us. It was stolen away. People, people died off. They sold the property. Now there's $500,000, $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, $4 million places over here now. So
it seems to me, Mel,
that's gentrification. Gentrification.
Of course.
All right,
look at
ahead.
that. Y'all see what that is?
Could you put that on the big screen, Mel? Show what he's saying.
It's called the accommodation. Do y'all see that?
Put on the big screen, Mel.
But for y'all to understand literally Texas and what's happening here in Texas, you would have to read
Bring it back
the
up,
accommodation.
Baba.
Bring it back up, Baba. Put it up there. It's called the accommodation. It's called the accommodation because you have to understand there are a lot of business owners that were in North Dallas. They were in this part of the city called Highland Park. About 2 miles from where I live, there's a community called Highland Park. It is the most affluent area in the entire state of Texas. The floor plan for Highland Park it mimics Beverly Hills. Jerry Jones lives up there. Mark Cuban lives up there. All Money lives up there. Ross Perot lives up there. I mean, just about 2 to 3 miles in another direction. They're a little enclave community that's cut off from everybody else. But I'm telling you, y'all, to understand Texas politics and to understand what's happening now, the effects of the accommodation, 40, 50, 60 years of the accommodation, the effect of that is now. We have lost it. I got to give y'all one more thing before, because I don't want to talk too much. I used to work for a man named Lee G. Belial, better known as Lee Brotherton. Mr. Belial was a land banker here in Texas. He used to own the Forest Theater. He owned $8 million worth of property in southern Dallas. They tried to take his property and put him in jail on code violations because he refused to sell his property to the city of Dallas. He was an 85-year-old man, former Tuskegee Airman. They threw him in jail for a night on code violations that were not really code violations. They did it because they wanted him to sell his property so that they could take it. And he owned all this property in southern Dallas. And I'm going to tell you why that's important to the argument that we're making right now. Mr. Belial has passed away. So all of those houses, all of those communities that he controlled, all that stuff that he had, it's been sold by his estate. And it's been sold to people that don't look like us. True. And they have knocked down houses. They've knocked down apartment complexes. And you know, when you knock down houses and apartment complex, what do? You knock down what? Voters. So huge voting blocks of people in Dallas, Texas have been removed. And it's
so you know what I would want to know,
gentrified. Huh?
You know what I would want to know, Calvin? I would want to know, honestly, and this might sound ridiculous, but this just for my mind, I would want to know what's the ratio to Blacks in Texas right now and whites. Like what percentage is it? 50% Black people in Texas, 50% white people in Texas. See, I would want to know a question like that. I would really want to know, like,
it's more Hispanics here. It's more Hispanics here right now than either of us. I think. So
are they illegal? Are they illegal?
No.
Some are not. Even the ones that are not illegal, there's still enough Hispanics here because we're so close to Mexico. And I want you to understand two things, Queen. The state of Texas has the largest African American population in the entire country. And
It
does?
Yes.
So that's why I asked the question.
And you know
I asked the question for a reason.
And you know why? Because Houston is the 5th largest metropolitan area. Dallas is the 4th largest metropolitan area.
Right.
The only 3 places in the whole country that have more population centers are Chicago, LA, and New York. Outside of Houston and Dallas, there's not as many black and people. Some people will think Atlanta. No, there's more black people in Dallas and Houston than in Atlanta. And
so that's my problem.
And we're 3 hours away from each other.
So that's what my problem would be. My problem would be.
It's a big, huge area. Houston is huge. Houston is.
But you have to understand, you got Dallas, Fort Worth, and in Houston does not have the suburbs we have.
No.
We got suburbs that have. I counted. We got
Hill, DeSoto.
We got 8 suburbs that have more than 250,000 people.
So I guess
that are also rich, that are also one of the most affluent black suburbs in America. Cedar Hill, DeSoto, Duncanville are like some of the most well funded or groups of like black Americans. So, and Jasmine Crockett is actually over. I think, is she not over Cedar Hill and DeSoto and Duncanville?
She has that. Erica, her and Mark Vesey do.
Right. So imagine now that you have a group of people that are very like a rich group of African Americans that now their gets redistricted into a thing where you now have a Republican running it. And so now what happens? What is the thing that happens in that situation?
All right, guys. So let's take a moment here for a second. We have close to 700 people in the building. We'd like to ask you guys to hit the like button, share and subscribe if you like the material. And
some people did ask to come up. Did you want to drop the link or
not yet? So thank you guys for tuning in. We really do appreciate your participation. I wanted to ask Baba, what makes this redistrict illegal?
Well, the problem with that is it's way it's done, and when you redistrict, you're throwing other voters away. I ask people all the time, when you say you are a Democrat, are you a liberal, conservative, or progressive? Everything comes in stages, and see.
Thank you, Bob.
Defense. Okay.
Come on, Bob.
A lot of them don't know what the hell they is. They don't know if they're conservative.
Come on, Bob.
Or progressive or liberal. They just out there running emotion. But what you don't realize that the party switched. That was a thing called the fusion party. The Democrats became Republicans. Republicans became Democrats in the South right after the Civil War. Look them up. It's called the fusion party, and it all changed then. And not only did it change then, you realize your power was only at the state and local and state. Once you go to the national, you got to deal with what they call it electoral colleges. That's what Musk did when he bought Pennsylvania. And then you got to realize the machines are rigged. They rig things to fit the because they draw me out of my district when I was running for office. So that I was a loudmouth. I'm a militant. We don't want this nigga up there, they would say, because he's trouble. Okay. And when you're outspoken, they do. Yes, it's illegal because you're actually throwing people away that have put somebody in office. You're denying them that vote of that representation.
So to go back to what I initially said, Bobble, and I said that earlier, the new Democrat might be the new Republican, the way I'm looking at it, because I'm not looking at the bill as a color. I'm not looking at things he do as his name Trump. I'm looking at things that are in the bill that are already written. And I asked the question about what's the ratio of blacks that live in Texas versus white. And I'm glad that you put the enormous name that there's a whole lot of blacks that live in Texas, because those counties, those towns are huge. So my problem with it is, if it's that huge and we have such a black population, I still want to know, why is it still a Republican state? That means
I'm gonna break something down.
that means we're going back to the fact that the Democrats, whatever's going on with the Democrats, they're not getting across to the black community that they should be getting across.
Can I break it down?
Let me have Calvin. I'm going to have Calvin now break it down. Go.
The reason why I have to break this down to you, Queen, and you don't know because you live in Florida. You live in that small state down there called Florida.
Nah,
when I say small,
we're Republican. I don't like them.
Now let me tell you what. When I say small state, Texas is huge. I want you to understand. Yeah. I had friends in college that could drive 12 hours from where we were just to go home for Thanksgiving and still be in the same state. Texas is huge. And so I drove today to Stephenville, Texas. Do you know how many small towns I went through just to get from Dallas to Stephenville? I probably went through 25, 30 small towns that have anywhere between 5,000 and 60,000, 70,000 people. Texas is so huge and it's Republican because you have a lot of these small counties that have nothing but white people in them. Because black folk ain't gonna live in Timbuktu. So you have in Texas, I'm not for sure exactly how many counties we have. I think we have over 100 counties in the state of Texas.
They need to vote.
What happens is, what I'm trying to tell you is that when we do vote, so you understand, yes, the cities vote Democrats. Yes, black and African American people vote in the city elections. But when you go over the state, we may win a city like 80%, 20%. But the margins in the small towns are 95% Republican, 5% Democratic. 99% Republican, 2% Democrat.
254 counties. 254 counties, by the way.
Exactly. 254 counties. I wasn't even halfway there. So you have these little counties, and you have 200 of them that are going 95-5. And then you got the big cities, like you got Dallas and Houston being attacked. Austin somewhat can go our way. San Antonio just depends, because I think they suppressed the Hispanics down in San Antonio. So the problem is, you have these small counties, in Texas is different because you have to truly understand how big Texas is. Today alone, I went on a five-hour drive to go to one place and back. And it you know, and I'm going through counties, hills. I'm going everywhere through multiple counties.
Sundown towns and all types of stuff. Don't let the sun go down.
So I have a question for you, Calvin. So if you say that, then are there areas in Texas where honestly their votes count, but they're just not voting? Because it baffles me that it's so huge and the votes aren't adding up to why y'all have Republicans and not Democrats. It's either telling me that people aren't
counties. Wait a minute. If you got 200 counties, or let's say we got 254 counties, and there's 200 counties where literally there are no black people that live in them. None. We have about 200 counties in Texas where no black people live.
Them to where even
where no black people live. It's because
now they're about to redistrict it to where even the places where the black people live at, they are going to turn those things in, even though you have a majority black city like Cedar Hill.
And that's why I'm upset, because they're cutting it up in a way that's not fair. And that's where I got a problem with it, Queen, because I'm going to be honest with you. There's about 200 counties where there are no black people that live there at all.
Yeah. Right. So that's why I was asking the ratio. That's why I was asking the ratio to, is it 50% black people in Texas, or is it 38% black people? I'm asking those particular questions like that.
And the reason
Because
why,
I want to know if there's 80% black people living in Texas, why are those 80% votes not on the back? Why are those votes not being counted? I'm asking to that
that's
part.
the whole reason why we're having an argument about redistricting, because you can cut the map up
12%
and you
black.
can throw all the black people. Wait a minute, Genesis. You can throw all of the black people in this one area and make their vote count one time. And then you could throw all these other 200 people and split them up and make their vote count one time. And guess who gets screwed? Us. Even though we have more people, county to county, because you have to understand each county, a lot of these counties have their little districts that they're cutting up in a way that may not have the same amount of people as we got in Dallas. So we have districts now. We have districts now that maybe have 1,000 people in them. And I got a big.
Wouldn't that be voting fraud?
No, stop it. It's
But wouldn't that be voting fraud?
No, Queen.
Wouldn't that be voting fraud, Calvin?
It's not fraud. It's the way they're driving.
The vote twice?
It's simple. No, it's simple. No, it's simple. When you think about this, I'm going to put it like this. I want you to think about this. If we have 10 slots, and let's say I got a slot with 100,000 people over here, and then I got 9 slots with 1,000 people over here. You would think that if there was an election, I got 100,000 people to 90,000 people, that these people in this 100,000 slots should be making decisions. But what's happening is they're cutting it up in a way to where these little bitty counties who only have sometimes a couple of thousand people have the same amount of power as our district with all of our people voting. So that's why we're complaining. I mean, I want you to understand what redistricting is. It's making this county with these hundreds of thousands of voters making their vote count one time, and then they're making those little slivers of 10 and making their vote count 9 times. And that's where we have the problem in Texas. You may not have that problem as tough in Florida because y'all not as big as we are. But when you got Texas, it's a whole nother monster.
Okay, so Baba, tell us, is it the same in Louisiana?
It's basically the same, and that's why I was looking at Calvin about, because what I've been trying to teach my people here is this: who controls the voter registration office? Who counts the votes? Who put the numbers out? Who do the canvassing and count? Because if they don't canvass and counsel the roll to make sure who's legal to vote, you got dead folks voting in Louisiana. We just filed against the National Voter Registration Association 2 years ago. Some folks hadn't voted in 32 years. You can't miss 2 federal elections and be allowed to vote. Now, since we filed a complaint, now they got to canvass every June 13th. So those people saying you need to go back and make sure that your voter registration office is canvassing and count, because you got folks voting that ain't been around since Moses parted the Red Sea. 32 years in Tallulah, they had never canvassed the vote. And when we filed, those people are counted if they was alive. They hadn't voted in 32 years.
It's going back to what I was saying, Bobble. That means we got to hold the people accountable, though.
We got to, rather than that, you got to go and check with the folks that run the machines and do the counting. You got those absentees and the walk-ins. And then look at this. What's the population of the United States total? 343 million. Only 118 million voted.
Right. So that was my point. That's my point.
We're finding we had more folks black voted when Obama ran than any time in any election.
Thank you. I didn't even get on that part.
Yeah, the problem is this: we're so caught up in emotions and not logic and common sense and dealing with the issues that we let them what they call hoodwink and cable told us into believing things. And you have to realize this: this is a capitalistic society. You play the republic for what you stand, not democracy, not Democrat. Come on, Bobby. You put into a republic, and it's ran by the federalist movement, who runs all of the political. Because one time, Democrat and Republican was one party. Then they knocked out the Whig Party and other parties. The Fusion Party came along and they switched over. It's all about power. Have against the have nots. Your color don't matter. Have
Thank
and
you.
have
Right
not.
there.
And that's
Thank
our problem.
you.
We're caught up in, we're so heavily minded with no good. We're trying to make this thing be one. That ain't how this dog hunt. You got those other families that's controlled. We did the show, the hidden government. How many of you know anything about the hidden government that's really running Donald Trump? Donald Trump is on the figurehead. He's called a commander in chief. We have no president. He's called the commander in chief.
Come on,
He's over the military. He's not a president.
come on, Bobby.
See, you talked about the population. I dare you to look up District of Columbia. How many black folks live in the District of Columbia? Yet they have no representation in the Senate. You talk
Thank you,
about
Barbara.
This is Columbia is majority black.
You talk about
This
that?
is Columbia is more majority black.
It's one of the largest
And
black
here's
ones
the thing.
out there. Yet they have no representation.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, and what Claude Anderson said is that we have been the majority minority. So they say that we're minorities, but really the majority.
He said the biggest fear is, as Scott Patrick said, the Ku Klux Klan there in Dallas and Grand Prairie, the Grand Wizard, Calvin. When I had my radio show there, I had him on. You remember I had my radio show back in Dallas, and I had the Ku Klux Klan on my show. He told what the deal was. The fear is being eliminated. You're not going to remove us. And in the next 10 years, you're going to have an Hispanic president.
Hey, Baba, you know what I used to do, Baba, and it's crazy. And this is what y'all don't know. I spent time as on a conservative talk radio show.
Okay.
Talking to them folks coming in there sitting down. And I quickly understood a couple of things. And Queen, I'm with you on this. Let me tell you something. We have to start paying attention financially to what's going on.
Thank you.
Because I'm going to tell you this. Deep. When I was sitting on conservative talk radio talking to some people, you know what I came to realization of? That some of them don't even want our money.
They don't need it.
And you know why? Because our money comes with too many strings and too many headaches. And what they have decided to do is not give us the money in the first place, or to create situations where we're not circulating our own money in our own communities. And that's on us. It's not their fault.
It always gonna come back to us, Calvin. It's gonna always come back, and that's what I'm trying to. I guess that's the point that I keep trying to drill in. It's gonna always come back to us, and we don't understand how even if we got to take this country and flip it to black Republican, it can be done. It's just like you take the earth, and the earth right now. If you understand astrology, whether people believe it or not, the earth has flipped. And if the earth has flipped, then guess what means? It's a lot of stuff dropping down, and it's a lot of stuff that's growing up. Why? Because the roots to this country has already been planted. There's nothing they can do about that. The plantation, the foundation of it has already been laid. We already are working on the cracks. The cracks are getting rid of illegals, getting things changed over, looking at the bills. Stop looking at the color. Stop looking at the name of the person. Because once the bill is written, you can't change it. You can't change the game in the middle of the game like that. So if the bills are written, what are we fighting for? The bill's written.
And
we're not fighting. We're fighting against a title, a party style.
I want to say this. I want to say this is that as other people are talking, we need because people are saying something in the chat about when someone's talking, not to just mute and let the person talk. Yeah. But I do want to show the most about the cities in Texas to show the most prominent black cities in Texas to get an understanding about it's one thing black cities, but these people are prominent. When you actually look at the median household, you're talking about $200,000 median household. Okay, you're not talking about broke black people. You're talking about people that have money, that are living really nicely, that have acquired wealth. You're not talking about people that are in poverty. And I wanted to show this real quick about that, if you will allow me to show that. But I do also wanted to say, when people are talking, let's let them speak, and I get, so I'm gonna play this. hold on, let's go into it. So these are the 10 best cities for Black families.
Pearland shines as one of the most desirable cities in Texas for Black families seeking an exceptional living environment. Located approximately 17 miles south of downtown Houston, residents of Pearland enjoy easy access to the city's vibrant cultural scene and abundant employment opportunities. Pearland has low poverty rate of 3.5% and an unemployment rate of 3.8% compared to national average. The median income of $102,764 further underscore the city's prosperous economic landscape, providing Black families with a solid foundation.
Median income, 102,000. So this is in Texas, right? This is what's going on.
Schools and thriving business community, Plano emerges as one of the premier cities in North Texas for Black families seeking an exceptional living environment. Located just 19 miles north of downtown Dallas, Plano seamlessly blends suburban tranquility with the energy of an urban center. An impressively low unemployment rate of 4% and poverty rate of 6.3%, with median income of $96,300, further underscore the city's prosperity.
96,000 right here. Plano, right. I think, I'm not sure if that was one of Jasmine. I don't think it's one of Jasmine Crockett's places, but I think that what happened is that her place got took. This is Plano, and so now the person that owns Plano is not going to own her spot, her places. So Cedar Hill.
Side of North Texas, Cedar Hill stands as an idyllic city, providing a peaceful escape from the bustling urban centers nearby. Cedar Hill is strategically located approximately 16 miles northeast of Dallas, granting residents convenient access to the city's vast array of cultural and employment opportunities. City has a diverse and inclusive community with almost 53.6% Black population. Cedar Hill provides a harmonious blend of natural beauty, convenient proximity to urban amenities, and a flourishing community. In terms of economic indicators, Cedar Hill outperforms national averages, boasting a poverty rate of 8.7% and an unemployment rate of 6.6%. The median income of $75,700 and
so the median income, right? So no one is hitting like no median income of like 22,000. Every place that you go, Euless
metropolitan area stands out as one of the top to the abundant entertainment, shopping, and employment opportunities available in both major cities. Renowned for its proximity to the scenic Trinity River, city's picturesque surroundings contribute to its appeal as an ideal place to live, work, and raise a family. In terms of economic indicators, Euless fares favorably when compared to the national averages. With a poverty rate of 8.6% and an unemployment rate of 4.2%, Euless demonstrates a stronger economic stability. Situated approximately 70 miles north of Austin, Killeen provides residents with the perfect blend.
So that was like 200,000 median household.
I have a question.
And this is the type of stuff that's going on. So median household, 132. I'm going to just go through this. Like median household income.
Let us talk.
195 median household for I don't know what that place is, but I'm just letting you guys know is that like the places in Texas, they're not like just
Soto.
People in poverty and these people have money. So
why aren't they voting?
That's my point.
They are voting. Why do you think they're not voting? That's the problem, is that you think of course they're voting. They voted for Jasmine Crockett. What's happening is that now the government is saying that you voted for her, but bump that, we're going to redistrict it and then make you have to either vote for her or this other Republican guy, and then now you're competing with.
But they already voted her in.
No, you're missing this. You're missing it.
I can't be.
No, you are. You're missing it. So you have you have cities like this that have that are not like ignorant, right? When it comes down to, then you're not talking about like the impoverished that aren't voting. That's why I wanted to show you this. The cities have a median household, sometimes 75,000 a year, 95,000. They're not like ignorant people, right? So they are voting, right? And then what's happening is that what's right now is that Trump is saying, you know what? So you might be a part of Cedar Hill district that normally would vote in Jasmine Crockett because Jasmine runs probably Cedar Hill, DeSoto, Duncanville, whatever. So now they redistrict so that now Cedar Hill is a part of Plano, right? Now Plano is a Republican place, right? And so now with no black people, with no strong black people. No, there are strong black people, but you are not the
So
majority.
they'll get on the ballot to vote it. So they'll get on the ballot where people can also vote them in.
No, it's not
Is
the
that what I'm trying
majority.
to-
It's not the majority. So therefore, we're in.
Why wouldn't it be the majority if she was voted in?
No,
If she
listen.
was voted in by the
Listen.
majority,
No, you're not listening. I'm saying if
oh, I hear you.
at one point
I'm just not agreeing with you.
it is no. If you had a district of Duncanville, DeSoto, all Lancaster, Oak Cliff, downtown Dallas, whatever, that's majority.
I work for supervisor of elections.
Okay, now listen to me. Let me finish my sentence. Right? And then someone says, you know what? We're gonna cut this whole thing up in DeSoto, Duncanville, and Cedar Hill is now gonna be a part of Plano. And Plano is mostly Caucasian voting for Republican. Now you have the Democrats that are in that area that would normally vote for Jasmine Crockett fighting against people that are in Plano that would vote for a Republican, whoever the hell is in their thing. So that's the problem. It's like, but this area, okay, is a majority black area.
Okay, so let Calvin jump in, see what he has to say.
This is what I want to explain to y'all. Because I live here, we're voting. It's not like that we don't vote. What they have done is they have diluted the power of the vote by drawing the districts a different way. It's not whether we're voting or not. Basically, what they have done, so that everybody understands, let's say we're voting in high numbers, and let's say where we live at, we have 200,000 people, and we're voting in high numbers, and we vote for, let's say, Jasmine Crockett. We'll just use her as an example. What they're doing is they're throwing us in a district along with another 400,000 of white Republicans that vote another way. And so now, even though all our people are going to vote, our vote is watered down because you're thrown in a district that has already voted 400,000 for another person in there. So even if we bring out 200,000, they are going to be able to choose that particular person. The problem that I got is that we voted for a particular person in Jasmine Crockett. And what Donald Trump and the Texas legislature has done, and I'm not talking about, it's not even a color thing for me.
That's what my point is.
I get it, but let me finish what I'm saying. We voted for this person. And basically what you said is, oh, we're going to wipe your district out. And we're going to throw you over here. And so no matter who you like or who you want to vote for, even we built a relationship in power. And if you understand Congress, to help you understand, Congress is seniority, which means the person that has the seniority has the power. The person that was in Jasmine Crockett's spot, Etta Bernice Johnson, she was one of the more senior members in all of Congress. So we had a lot of power. We got a lot of benefits. So what you're doing now is you're taking the person that I voted for, that we voted for, and you're eliminating the district, and you're putting us in a district with a community. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all. The people in Plano and the people in Cedar Hill don't have the same community. They don't have the same problems. They don't have the same concerns. Why are you placing me with a community that does not have the same problems, concerns, or certain important areas that we need to focus on? Cedar Hill and Plano don't have the same problems, don't have the same types of communities, don't need the same types of resources. They're different communities. So you should not be throwing me with a community that does not, that's not similar to mine, that are not going, we're not going to be able to deal with the problems that we have in our community, because they're going to prioritize the problems of the 400,000 over our 200,000. And that's kind of what I'm saying. It ain't a color thing.
So that's my problem then. If it's not a color thing and if it's not a party style thing, why aren't we voting for the bill? Because if the bill, if what they're talking about, when you're voting for someone, you're voting for them in the rights of the people. It seems like what we're doing is we're not voting for the rights of the people. We're still voting for a party style. It sounds like this is a party style thing for me. It sounds like it's a color thing for me. And when I say color, I mean the color of your party style, whether you're a red party style or you're a blue party style. I don't understand why is it bad that the people are voting, but they're voting for the bills. And if those bills are supporting the people, why do we care?
Okay, can I answer
Like,
that?
like name a bill
Can I
that's not
answer it?
supporting the people.
Can I answer it for you? I'm Mr. Political Science here. Do you understand how bills get to be voted on? And what I'm trying to tell you is the way that they're gerrymandering us out of and putting us in districts that don't have the same concerns we have. We won't even get the bills on the floor because the representative that we will have now would not prioritize what's happening down here on the southern side of the section. They will prioritize the bills and the concerns that they have for their 400,000 people. And these 200,000 people will not get their concerns met. And so when you talk about voting for bills, to even get the bill to vote, you have to have it come out of a district that understands what your problem is to put the problem up to be voted on. What we're saying is, because of gerrymandering and redistricting, we're not going to get to even put our problems up because we're no longer going to have the representative who we told our problems to even suggest us fixing the problems that we sent her to fix, because the Republicans have now removed that person out of, and I hate to make it a party thing, but they're the ones that are doing it right now. They removed that person that we voted for.
And can I real quickly show the difference between Cedar Hill versus Plano, like where this is located versus where Cedar Hill.
And you remember, I live here, so I know.
Right? I just showed the map. Okay, so let's give it an example. Please bring the map up real quick. Can y'all see this? Can you guys see this at all?
Yeah.
Not well, but we can see it. But
I'm gonna zoom in. All right. So this is Plano. You see this Plano? You see that right here?
Yeah.
All right. So to get to Cedar Hill, all right, you have to go all the way down to here, right? So you have an area like this area, like this is where Cedar Hill is. Now, Cedar Hill is one of the most richest Black communities in America. Okay, in America. Okay. Now you have to so this is where Cedar Hill is, and then let's go up to where Plano is. That's at least.
Think about it.
Okay.
That's an hour.
An hour away from each other. How could anybody know what's going on from here to there? Okay, you know what I'm saying, that Jasmine probably lives most likely in
Can I explain something to y'all? You have to let me say this so that I make y'all understand this. Plano is already developed. Plano is where Texas Instruments is. We are still developing down south what the community, we're still developing our industries down south. Plano is already developed. They have a lot of shopping areas. They have a lot of stuff. Now, City Hill lately, they've been building a lot of plants, a lot of businesses, a lot of different buildings, and they're still developing. And then what I'm saying is that you should not be putting representation for an area that's already built and already has certain resources and stuff up there to where they got to take their resources to the next level. While we got this area down here that's underdeveloped, that is still developing, that has different concerns than this area up here. These two areas don't share anything in common. Well, I live here. It's completely different. You shouldn't be placing communities that are completely different in the same district. You
Can I
should
ask a
place
question,
that
Calvin?
community in that district so the people in that community that live in that particular community can have the power to make the change that they want to make.
And I
What
will
they've
say
done-
that little southern district is very muchly black. DeSoto, Duncanville, Cedar Hill is a black area. It's a very well-to-do black area.
and they've watered
So
it
that
out
means those
by doing what they're doing.
Black
Okay,
So that
guys,
mean in
homeowners.
that
hold
black
on.
area.
Listen to me. Black
Hold on,
homeowners.
hold on one second,
all
guys.
that stuff.
Let's take a moment. Thank you guys for participating. Everybody's commenting. We ask you guys, please hit the like button and support the channel if you like. Also support DJ Genesis channel. You also have Queen. I'm gonna let everybody talk about their channel. But now we've talked about all of these issues and concerns and problems. I want to ask everybody on the panel, what is the game plan to solve this problem? We'll start with Calvin.
I think what we have to do is we need to make sure that when you draw districts, that you don't put a district at a place like Plano in the same place at a place like Cedar Hill. It's not an issue upon which whether people are voting or not. What they have done is they've lumped all of the black people that vote in districts where, as opposed to having a district that is going to have the concerns of that particular community be first, they placed us in districts where we're going to be last because those people in Plano do not have the same concerns that we have down here in Cedar Hill. Like I'll give you an example when it comes to transportation. Transportation on the DART rail in the DART area is already in Plano. They actually have a train that runs up there, runs all the way out through Plano. Cedar Hill is so new that they don't even have trains that run all the way to Cedar Hill. You can catch a bus to a certain point, and then you have to catch a train there. I mean, you can catch a train to a certain point, and then you have to catch the bus or get rides from these little ride drop-off places. And the reason why I use that as an example when it comes to transportation, for you to be able to get to the hub city, which is Dallas, you got to use public transportation. So you got Plano, who already has their stuff set up. Cedar Hill does not have their stuff set up, not because they had representation that did nothing. It's just the fact that they're new and they're still in the process of setting those things up. So you do not place a place like Plano with a place like Cedar Hill, Duncanville, and DeSoto and water our boat down. They're watering the boat of the communities down. And we ain't going to just say black people. We're going to say they're watering the boat of those communities down because there are white people in Cedar Hill and Duncanville and DeSoto and Hispanic people in Duncanville and Cedar and DeSoto that want public transportation, that want growth in that community. But now they're going to be lumped up there with somebody in Plano that does not have the same concerns and the same type of community that sits down south. And that's watering the boat down, and that's eliminating a person who I voted for and throwing me in a district with somebody that I do not know, that I've never met before. And that's where I have the problem.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we're going to go to Baba. Tell us, what do you think the solution is? How do we move forward?
We're going to have to change the mindset of our people first and foremost. And we got to reprioritize our priorities and become more cultural cohesive than individualized. We went through this back in the 50s and the 60s. Same monsters biting us in the butt now. And then we got to get rid of, excuse my French, these handkerchief heads that's so-called leading us, and they're selling us out for selling us out for generals. Like the brother said, that was S.M. Wright and Dr. Clark that met Dr. King at Love Field. And guess who brought Dr. King to Love Field? It was the guy that owned Neiman Marcus. A Jewish man brought Dr. King there. They say, we niggas are doing all right, going back home, Dr. King. At that time, Dr. S.M. Wright, South Dallas, Clark, Oak Cliff, they had the black people, and we moved together. Well, nobody picked the baton up. You got people like now, you got, what's the name, down there and there, but these guys was not brought up under that umbrella. So therefore, we had no representation, and we still don't. We're selling our soul for a jelly roll, you know, and that's the bad thing about it. And that's what I would say, until we change our mind, ain't nothing gonna change. And remember this: powerful people do not teach powerless people how to take their power away.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay, DJ Genesis, what's the solution?
You know, I just want to go back to Dr. Claude Anderson, and what he said is that, you know, at some point this whole thing, he predicted it. Dr. Claude Anderson talked about the fact that we would become a majority minority. And then he also talked about a lot of like different things about how things would go down, you know. And I think that you guys should like watch his thing called Powernomics. He has a whole speech called Powernomics. Please go watch that, because what's happening right now is everything that he said that was going to happen. And it's one thing to just be about, okay, well, you know, what are we doing? Well, we're not voting right. No, we are voting. I don't think that the people in Cedar Hill are not voting. These are people that have money. They're established. They're not like people that are like in the hood, you know. And even if they were in the hood, these are people that are well established folk that are very understanding about politics and how it affects them, whether they vote Republican, Democratic, whatever. So I don't want to make this whole thing about like that Black people don't vote. I want to make it about like that this redistricting is not fair, you know. Just for a group of people to be able to come into a situation, and then when you know that these people voted for that person, and then be able to remove them out of that situation based on some kind of weird rule or whatever, and then get mad and want to arrest them, that's not cool. I think that Jasmine Crockett has been a great representative for that area. You know, listen, I used to live in Cedar Hill. I moved to Mesquite, but I still get emails about like little things that they're doing in Mesquite. I mean, in Cedar Hill, like little events that they're doing, trying to bring the community together. I still get things. Cedar Hill is a very beautiful community. I wish I would have never left there, to be quite honest. You know what I'm saying? Cedar Hill is a very good community. I mean, when it comes down to education, everything, very good community. So I think that, you know, it's one thing when you're not from here to not understand, like when you have a Black community of not well-to-do, but people that like are like, I would say middle class to upper class Black people, and how that community is ran, you might not understand the value of that. But I see it, and I've seen it. So, and that's what I would say.
Okay, very good. So now we're going to hear from Queen. And Queen, before you get started, I just want to say we're going to start bringing other people on the stage, so just so you guys are prepared. Okay, Queen, what's the solution?
The solution to me is to go inside the mindset of your own mind. The solution to me is, if it's something that you've already been doing, and you notice that there haven't been a change, and it's the same rotation of a cycle of a snowballing effect, I feel like you got to go and look within and see what the common denominator is and what changes you actually need to make. I feel like sometimes in order to shake a person, see, I like to compare things to the dog track. When you go to the dog track and Rover, and he take that bone and he trying to get the #1 race, one thing about it, he ain't taking nobody with him but him and that bone to get to the finish line. And I think sometimes, like I tell you all the time, I don't come with friends, family, referrals, or anything, because I don't want to take no passengers when I come, and I definitely don't need prisoners. I feel like if Jasmine Crockett was just as strong in her community, and they know how strong she was and is, I feel like her community is already built up enough to any footprint that come in that sand. They should be able to spot it through the dark nights, and they should be able to take that particular representative at the time and shake them into fruition, because Jasmine Crockett have already did her part in her community. If you know what wheel is supposed to be working in your community, then you need to make whoever's coming in run your wheel the right way. That's how you take control as your community. Now, what I feel like Jasmine Crockett should do, because she's being highly put up on a pedestal by Kevin. Calvin, I apologize. She's highly being put up on a pedestal by DJ Genesis. She's highly being put there. So what needs to happen now? If you already know your town, you already know the footprints there. You know whoever come in need to abide by your rules because you all are the gatekeepers, not that one person. What Jasmine need to do is go in another community and put some boots in the ground to shake that area up if she can, because they can only vote her out. They can put her in whatever. As long as she's speaking on her truth, as long as she's speaking on the facts, as long as she's being guided and she knows she's looking at each particular bill, I feel like she should go in another area and show them exactly who she is. And y'all fight for her in that community too, because what happens at that point, you already know you have your community. Now y'all need to know your community already taken care of. So if there are strong people in the community that you already have, then why don't y'all strong community form some sort of group and carry her to the next town? So if you can't stop them from doing it, join their ass, join them in redirecting her, and y'all start changing things city by city, town by town, and show them exactly who is the head population in the state of Texas. Black people. And if black people are the head, then that means y'all need to support her as she go up the ladder, because if y'all can help her move up the ladder, then y'all will see a black governess. I feel like if we start changing our mindset, take party style off the table, take everything off the table and start over again. Consider taking the earth and flipping it on the other side. Wouldn't y'all want to see a black governess in your state? I would want to see her, even if I got to help with my boots on the ground from over here, because I don't look at it by town anymore. Where my head is at, I see states connecting. They're connecting. And when I look at the connecting states, I see the entire earth. And there's no one walking this earth not going to tell me that this United States, which is equivalent to an earth to me, have not been built up by black people. So y'all should help her build up in these communities. Show that there can be change. Y'all start something and move her along. Your area is already formed. Make them listen to you, and you continue to elevate her, because somebody, if you feel like she's a strong spokesperson, do you feel like she's fair, you feel like she's honest, you feel like she's telling the truth, the only thing you're going to do keeping her in your area is just keeping her right there in that small area. See, I'm not a person for small. I'm 6'2". I love heels. I'm looking at the bigger things, and the bigger things is help her elevate. Don't keep her idle. If it's a strong enough black Republicans there, hey, y'all learn how to work the bills together. I feel like the change is get out of change and start changing. If you could get out of change and start changing, we could do it.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate your input. Okay, we're going to have Reverend Green. It's your time to tell us what's on your mind.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Great show tonight thus far. I had a question for Mr. Johnson. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
All right, sir. I want to know what district is close to Oak Lawn.
What they're doing, I think that's
the Texas Stock Exchange. I want to be. It's going to be opening up in 2026, and I want to know if that's Jasmine Crockett's area.
It literally is.
See,
it won't be. It won't be anymore. It won't be anymore with the way they've drawn it. And
this is what I want to get into. You said a whole lot right there. What do you think about that?
And listen, I'm gonna tell you. Do you know where I work out at in the morning? It's the same building where the Texas Stock Exchange is going to be. They're already there. They're already in the building. They're already prepping.
Could you break this down as a Texan? What this means for Texas and both parties?
The Texas Stock Exchange will be a place where I won't say it will be exactly like New York, but it will be a place where people will exchange stocks. It'll be a place where people can start businesses and they can actually do a lot more hedge funds, do a lot of financial stuff. Where the Texas Stock Exchange sits, it sits at the entrance to the Highland Park community. The Highland Park community literally is across the street. The Texas Stock Exchange is in the new Weir's Furniture Building, and across from that Weir's Furniture Building, they're building a $50 million hotel and business park right next door to that.
Do you know the name of that hotel again?
I don't know what the name of the hotel is going to be. I know they're building it because every day that I go there, they're building it. I know they're building it because I see it over there, and I happen to know that a guy was over there. One of the guys I think I know is some kind of investor. I just listen. I can't. I'm in places sometimes where I'm just listening to people talk, so I don't know everything, but I know they're building a hotel from what I've heard. So that's thing number one. And thing number two, and you just mentioned something, and this is what I want to break down to Queen, Monica, and as well as Mel and Baba.
Thank you.
The Texas Stock Exchange literally is where Jasmine Crockett District literally ends, where it will be right there. With them redistricting it, they're taking that away from her. So they're not going to have to go to her for anything. They're gonna get somebody in there that they already have bought off, and that's the problem that I have. And I'm being honest with you. When you want to talk about Democrat and Republican, I get what everybody's saying, but it's about money. It's about the haves and the have-nots. So let me break down to y'all about some of this have and have-not situation.
Please
They're
do.
going to take that away to where they don't have to go ask her anything. They're going to put somebody in place to where they can just vote and do what they want to do in that little area where the Texas Stock Exchange is. I'm going to tell you how to break this down to y'all. Y'all remember when we had the snowstorm down here in Texas? You remember how we lost all that power?
Heard about that.
Guess what community did not lose their power? The community where the Texas Stock Exchange sits, they did not lose their power for 1 minute.
Wow.
Not 1 minute. And you know how I know? Because one of the places that we own is on the same grid, and that's where we stay. Because we know we were not going to lose our power. That's just an example of what they do here in Texas. It's a bigger plan here than just writing her out the district, and that's what scares me.
So, even in comparison to Wall Street, this is something totally different, correct?
Yes, it is. And then there's a lot of money because remember, in that community that's down, I put it like this, 10 to 20 blocks from there, you got Mark Cuban, Jerry Jones, Ross Perot. You got some of the Hunt oil money. You got the Neiman Marcus, the former Neiman Marcus owners that are in that community. So,
but Mark Cuban though, I like Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban is actually for the people. Mark Cuban, I see him on the Shark Tank. Mark Cuban, because I'm gonna take it back a little bit. Mark Cuban isn't one that's against the people. When I watched Mark Cuban for years when he did Shark Tank, Mark Cuban was always the one that would actually come and get the underdog. So, and he's a billionaire. The thing of it is, he's for the people. So I honestly, for me, I would trust Mark Cuban. I would trust Mark Cuban because I know Mark Cuban is for the people, because I always said to myself, I said, dog, I said, when I get on Shark Tank, when I get my daughter on Shark Tank, I wish I could have Mark Cuban. He's for the people. So if he's a part of that, he's for the people.
They've already voted the person out. The one woman
I'm not
out.
sure about that.
Who, Mark Cuban?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
The woman out. They're voting the woman out. So Mark Cuban is one thing. We're talking about
he's a big thing. Mark Cuban is a big thing.
No. We're talking about Jasmine Crockett, the person.
Right. I know
in that area.
I know.
So yeah, Mark Cuban and everything, but they're voting the woman out that is being able to control that area and making it so that someone else controls it, and so therefore that's a money grab in some kind of way for
money. The American dollar, and I want to be clear.
So guys,
it's not a black nor white. It's the American dollar.
Yeah, it's money. It's money.
Okay,
Yep,
thank
yep.
you. So listen, guys, we're down to our last 10 minutes, so I'm going to take a few minutes and thank you to Reverend Green for coming up. We appreciate your comments and your participation as well. Some great questions, and we look forward to having you back as well. So thank you. We're going to start with Calvin, and we're going to have your final thoughts as far as this whole situation. What do you think is the best way forward for everybody listening tonight?
Well, I think there needs to be a better understanding of how things are actually here in Texas. I think people that don't live here sometimes don't understand how big it is. They don't understand the communities, and they don't understand why the people that are in my district are upset that these two districts were redrawn to include areas that have nothing to do with the problems of our district. I give you an example. In southern Dallas, we got actually put with a community that does not share the same concerns that we have, and so the southern South Dallas part where the Martin Luther King Jr. Community Center sits, it's being neglected because it's being put in a district so far away from us that community is so different that they're not really concerned about what happens to our King Center and what's happening down here. And that's an example of what happens when you draw these redistricting maps. The problem is you can take huge pockets of populations of people that have the same problem, and you can put them in areas with people that don't have the same problem. And what you can do is you can weaken those people to the point to where the people that you put them with will be able to come down and literally take over the community that you're in, because they're just depressing it so that they can buy it and take it or steal it from you. And so we're concerned about our vote and our communities being watered down. It's not a black or white thing. It's a community thing. They're watering down the votes of our community by taking a lump of 200,000 people that have similar issues in similar communities and putting them in the same district with 400,000 people that have nothing to do with their problems have nothing to do up north with what's happening down south. And that's the problem that we're having. And being in Dallas and actually knowing how these communities look and knowing what those communities' concerns are, that's why I'm able to say this. It's not just a thing about, hey, go get your people to vote. You can change it. I get that part of it. But when you throw us in a community that has nothing to do with us, that doesn't have any issues similar to what we have, and we only have these amount of many people that have these concerns, then you have a problem. You should put people in communities that are like and similar so that they can grow, so they can get their things addressed and their concerns addressed by people that live in that community. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to have a community in DeSoto or Cedar Hill trying to ask somebody in Plano to come down and help them with their problem when they have not experienced and know nothing about the problem down south. So that's what I'm really saying. So when it comes to redistricting, I think we do have to think different. I agree with Queen on some. I agree with Baba on some. We got to turn the apple cart over. We got to get that old guard out, and we got to get that new blood in.
Thank you.
And if
there you go.
We can make a change. I get
Okay,
it.
Thank
so
you.
here's another question for you, Calvin. So what happens next to the individuals that have fled the state?
Well, I think that they're going to stay gone. They're not going to be able to get them back. And what's going to happen is there's going to be lawsuits that are filed, and they're going to try to say that they've abandoned their jobs, and that's going to go through the court system, and that stuff is going to take a while. And so they're just playing a stall game right now. We've seen Republicans do the stall game. I think they did the same thing, if I'm correct, in one of the states on the Eastern Board. So it's not just us who've done this. I think they had the same issue in I don't know if it was North Carolina, one of the states out east. They did something similar in the past. And so this is politics. And so I think ultimately there's going to have to be a fight in the courts. I think that the Democratic Party or the people in that party who are losing their losing their seats, they need to go ahead and file their lawsuits, and they need to show where this is racially motivated and community against the community, and the way the maps are being drawn, and they need to get on top of that. But I think it ends only with the Court of Appeals and possibly the Supreme Court weighing in on this. I think that's what is going to eventually have to happen, because I don't think they're going to be able to make those people come back.
Okay, so Calvin, the final question of tonight, I won't ask you now, but I want you to think about it. Why are so many Hispanics voting for the Republicans? So that's going to be the last round. We're going to move on to Baba. Tell us, what is the best way forward from this point on?
Well, I was listening to Calvin, but I want to say I want to thank him for his information. Goddess 6.2, everybody, I'm loving it. But at the same time, we got to sit down and redefine us and our objective. What's our agenda and what's going to be the strategy we're going to use to accomplish our goal? Because no matter what, you have to remember one thing: no matter what we say and do, until the mind is changed, we're gonna keep doing the same thing over. So the way forward is we've got to get our priorities in place. And right now I don't see it. I've been doing this since 1988, and we come back to the same. We've had conferences and meetings and money raised, and nothing has changed because we keep coming with the same agenda. We've got to go and find out. And I want to say this: see, what y'all don't realize, the mega party is the old Tea Party, Green Tea Party, the one they fought Obama with. They just switched names, you know. And so we got to go in. We got to go in and reprioritize our time. And another thing we got to do, honorable host, quit blaming white folks for all of our problems. We got to take some responsibility for ourselves, and then let them know. See, what tricked us was immigration. That tricked us, and we assimilated rather than integrated. You understand? And then when we ran, we did not cover our back flank. We used to own all these jobs. When we started chasing that white flight, look back around, the white boy came through the back door, closed, and raised the bill. What you call it, gentrification. We wasn't used to that. So what I'm saying now, we got to sit down, forget about the church. It can't help us now. No, it can't help us now. We've got to come together and get some real serious leaders who's not afraid of the system. Come on. And most folks are scared of the system.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are your final words of tonight, Baba?
My final words tonight, people, let's get it together. Quit playing with yourself. Realize the reality of the thing, because we're chasing wolf cookies. And we're chasing the illusion. This is political chess. This ain't checkers. This is political chess. And we're going to have to stand up and do something. Because one time we had our own party. We had a thing called the Wig Party. We got to get our own thing together. Then we'll get respect.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate all you said tonight. Really, really wise man. Okay, so we're going to have DJ Genesis now. Tell us your last points of interest tonight.
I just want to thank everybody for coming today, and I really want everybody to make sure that you follow Watching the World 777 and at DJ Genesis Detroit, please, because YouTube has been messing up my thing, and I don't know. So please go ahead and like and subscribe my channel. And when it really comes down to it, the reason why I really brought this subject to the matter is because I feel like there is something going on here that's deeper. I don't know exactly what it is, but I really appreciate Calvin for his opinion. I appreciate Queen for her opinion, and I appreciate Baba for his opinion. And hopefully that people, when they get done with this, are able to see something, get something out of it. And that's the main thing. Please support Queen Dee. Please support her channel. Please support Calvin Johnson. His number is 214-565-5600. Please support Mel, Watching the World 777, and thank you for having me on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Very good. All right. So, Queen, we're going to ask you to state your. Actually, I'm sorry, Queen. I'm going to have Calvin answer one last question, and then I'm going to have you close out this whole show. All right.
Okay.
So, Calvin, here's the last question for you. Why are so many Hispanics voting for Republicans?
I think they have a lot of conservative values. When you look at the Hispanic families, they're Catholic. A lot of them don't believe in abortions. They're about family. They're about traditional ways. So they're not big on LGBTQ. They're big on male-dominated households. They're very traditional and conservative as a people. And I think that the problem that the Democrats do have is they've went so far left to where it's a detriment to a lot of people. And a lot of Hispanic folks are saying, that's not what's best for our people. So I'm not going to do that. And that's one I can agree with Queen on is when you realize something's not best for your people, why you continue to vote for a party that's going to do what's not best for your people. And one last thing that I'll say about this, my campaign slogan that I ran is funny. Y'all know what my campaign slogan was?
What is it?
It's on us. It's on us. It's on us. I had it on shirts. They literally saw a guy literally saw me at a community meeting at the Martin Luther King Center. And the reporter from Channel 4 News, Sean Rabb, saw me say it's on us and immediately called me and it immediately put me on the nightly news when I said it's on us because it resonated with him. And when I say it's on us, as a people, African Americans and those people that live in those similarly situated African American communities, they need to decide what they want to do. They need to decide what's best for them. And they need to decide to vote for people that's going to do what's best for them instead of doing what that party tells them to do. And if you're not going to do that, then you need to be up out of there. That's what I got to say. And that's the answer to my question.
All right, awesome. Thank you for your participation tonight. As always, we really appreciate your in-depth knowledge about Texas and all the things that you bring to the table. Well, in conclusion, folks, we'd like to ask you guys to hit the like button once more, if you could, to support the channel and all the people that are here tonight. And in conclusion as well, we're going to have Queen give us the final word.
Okay. So my final word on this would be, just to sum it up in a bow tie, I think we're all on the mindset to an extent of bettering the people and also trying to better the country. But I think one of the main things that we have to do in order for us to even get a betterment, we got to understand like which side of the law that we're standing for individually. And when I say which side of the law we're standing for individually, I don't mean a color. I don't mean party style. I don't even mean a state. I mean, you have to understand what it is that you're after individually. And if once you determine what you're after individually, you will be able to decide whether or not this particular party style is for you or is this particular bill for you. Once we learn what bills are and understand what that means, we'll be able to honestly take party style off the table and then put it back on the table. Because once you take it off, because you understand what it is that you're looking for to make a betterment of yourself, your state, and also your country, then you'll also understand what it is that you're looking for as a whole. For me, what I'm looking for as a whole, I really don't care who Trump is as a whole. But what I'm looking at is what he's standing for as a whole. And if he's standing for something that's going to definitely help me, and it's going to help my people, and it's going to help my country, and it's going to help me get a voice back, and if it also have to help me turn the Democrat side back into the Republican side because we actually run this country, then that's what I'm going to do. And I want to close it out and say that I looked at a short clip from Donald Trump from some years ago. He was younger in youth back then. And you can see it in the toupee, but I shouldn't have brought that up. But I can tell you this. One thing that he said black people have the power. He said black people run things far more than what they know, far more than what they believe in. And I think once we start getting that and that giddy up back inside us, we'll really understand that we can take this country and run it the way it needs to be ran, and stop take everything off the table and just band together. If we could band together, it sounds like, again, Crockett is a very strong, powerful black woman that can make a change in her state. I'm living in Florida right now. Honestly, there's nothing in Florida for me. If I have to take my boots off the ground in the state of Florida and condition myself on that side of the country, because that is even the largest state in the world. It's the largest state. I mean, I traveled over there and it took me an arm and a leg to get the hell out of there. I said, damn, I'm thirsty by the time I left out of there. But if it takes for a strong person like me to go over there and back Jasmine Crockett up, because that's why I asked the amount of people there. And then I heard Calvin mention it was the smallest detail that made me say, wait a minute, Queen, you might have to take this one by the neck, and you might have to move over there, because he said this is her first term. So that means she needs more support. And if she needs more support, and I know I'm willing to support, because I'm willing to make a change in the states, I'm willing to make a change across the country, and I'm willing to make a change by having everybody else understand what black need. If I have to move over there to support her, I put my vow on it, because sometimes you might have to start from the West Coast and ease it on to the East Coast, and then swoop it back around and head up the state. So I'm going to pray on that. If there's somewhere for me to be and I can put my feet on the ground, because Carmelo Anthony, he's mine. He reminds me of Trayvon Martin, and I'm not going to let him go. Anton Massey told me something about his state, and that means I want to understand why Angola prison is sitting on top of a plantation where our black slaves had to die on, and you put a prison there? No. It shows me that there's more work for me to do than I would ever in life know. And if I have to come over to the Texas area to back this young lady up, it will be my vow. Because we got to make a stand. We have to make a stand somewhere. We can talk in circles and we can continue to snowball, or we can put our boots on the ground and show them that there's war, because we have voices and we're ready for them to be heard. But if you don't hear our voices, watch our movement. And that's where I stand on it. And I want to thank everybody out there in the chat. Thank y'all for flying in. Thank you for landing. I want to thank you for just understanding that we're here and we mean business. We're not playing. If there has to be another civil activist group that's in a civil circle to show you that sometimes people are not going to like it, but sometimes our Al Sharptons and our Jesse Jacksons, they've retired, and there's new energy. There's not just new energies that's needed. This is a new millennium. So with a new millennium, new voices, strong and built and ready, we need to be at war. And if we're not at war, we're going to continue to fail, and we're going to continue to lose, and we're going to continue to lose a lot of respect until we're nothing anymore. And I'm not going to lay down, because my ancestors didn't build me like that. At 50, I just started fighting. Thank y'all.
Yes.
Different voices, but the same song. Living a world where we all belong. Kindness leading the way, breaking the chains. In the symphony of love, the thing remains. Embracing diversity, brighter days in sight. Watching the world sharing love and light. Hearts beating as one in our peaceful flight. Colors of harmony, painting the night. United we stand in love's pure might. painting the night. United we stand in love's pure might.